Alright, everybody, here we go, part 4. Now, I apologize for the delay. Part of the reason is it's hard for me to find a block of time where I can guarantee the world around me will be quiet while I record these. But I think we'll be okay now, hopefully. We were at 4110, so I've gone back to 41 even. Let's see what they got. Oh, right.
NASA is hiding the frickin' flatness of the Earth. Why? It's okay to say, I have a fisheye lens, right? Because, yeah, fisheye lenses are useful. You know, you get more, in architecture or, realtors use them. But when you're doing it too much and you're not really coming out and saying why, questions build up.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't even really have a counterpoint because there's no argument there. They use fisheye lenses too much. Don't care. You know you can correct for those, right?
1923, a fisheye lens was invented. So these space agencies had a heads up already. And the fisheye lens was originally, I think, $27,000 to purchase.
They're really gonna harp on fisheye lenses for the next, 10 minutes or so? My God. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times they've used the fisheye lens if they've not used it just once. That's all they have to do is not use a fisheye lens once, and all the times they used fisheye lenses before no longer matter. And it's been done. I'll put up, probably my favorite one is the selfie from Jessica, her name will be up somewhere over there. That's how we do that. She took a selfie while on an EVA on the ISS through the station's solar panels, and you can see the grid lines on the solar panels are perfectly straight, but the Earth is not.
And this is in 1923. I mean, today that's about what, 100 grand, 200 grand equivalent.
They got cheaper. What are you talking about?
In cost, and people would tell me, Hitler, I'll give you that. NASA is a lying government entity, right? But what about Red Bull? Red Bull is just an energy drink. And I saw Felix Baumgartner jump out of a space capsule. Flat Earthers did a great job of debunking that. Of course it's a fisheye lens, it's not even a question. What most people don't know is that...
Except for the angles where it wasn't. This is another great example. I want to know who he's talking to, though, who says, okay, sure, NASA's lying, but Red Bull? Fuck Red Bull. How about the other 64 space agencies around the fucking world? How about SpaceX? How about so many other people who go much further than that near space capsule did? Near space. Felix Baumgartner was never in space.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, the science priest of modern day.
Don't care.
That everybody loves and they listen to him. Oh, he's so smart.
I kind of hate NDT. He's kind of a douchebag. Yeah, he's smart, but if you follow him on Twitter, you'll find out the kind of person he really is. And he's kind of a dickhead. I don't care. This is just so meaningless. So some people worship Neil deGrasse Tyson like he's the science god. I don't care. I'm not one of them. Doesn't matter.
Well, he is a smart man in the sense of he knows that we debunked the shit out of that.
And that dude who jumped out of a perfectly good balloon, Felix Baumgartner, edge of space jump. Now, I don't. It's he wants to. I don't have a problem if he does it, but the honesty of it.
By the way, don't take that wrong with what I said about Neil. He is a great science communicator. He's fine at that. He's not a good communicator. I don't like that he's talked about Flat Earth, and it's simply because he doesn't know Flat Earth as well as people like me and other debunking channels do. So he ends up saying things that, to Flat Earthers, make him look stupid. To us, we get it, but he leaves holes for them to crawl through, unfortunately.
Would greatly diminish what I think people thought he was actually doing. And not only that, they made sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide-angle lens, which curves horizontal lines. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface, and he's like, wow, he's in space, look at that. No, he's not. At that height, you don't see the curvature of the Earth. You just don't. That stuff is flat.
Okay, and it's one of those moments again. Neil said something perfectly correct, and this is somehow evidence of something. Okay, so this is like the flat earther weather balloon footage, like all of those weather balloon footage that they love to use. Keep in mind what we're seeing here, because they've talked about NASA already. They might slip up and make this mistake, but notice that in all of the footage they've shown, there are no stars. Now, you and I know why there are no stars, but when a flat earther looks at NASA EVA footage and says, why are there no stars? I want you to keep that in mind as we see all of their footage.
So we put so much pressure on Neil deGrasse Tyson to come clean. He had to. We exposed Felix Baumgartner. That's a complete fisheye lens. There's no curvature at all.
That doesn't expose anything, by the way, because Felix Baumgartner wasn't going up there to prove the curve of the Earth. He was going up there to then fall back down. So it doesn't fucking matter what the Earth looks like. That wasn't part of his presentation whatsoever. They just used that camera lens to make it seem more dramatic because, you know, that's how you do television. You add drama.
On this Earth, let alone they're trying to sell it as 23 miles up, there's curvature. Even though people will sit there and swear they saw curvature out of an airplane 10 miles high. Yeah, okay. So your priest Neil deGrasse Tyson admits 23 miles up, no curve. How do you feel about that?
Don't care. Already been over this. Here's the thing. When Neil's talking about, oh, you can't see the curve from that high, he's talking about what you can see. What you, like, that there is an obvious visible curve. There are times when there is not an obvious visible curve to your eyes, but it's there. And the best way to show that is to compress the image from left to right, make it skinny, and it exaggerates that curve for you. Allows you to see what your eyes can't, because your eyes kind of suck. Flat earthers will tell you to trust your senses. If I trusted my senses, the entire world would be a blur forever.
All right, maybe you say that's no big deal. Okay. Even though Felix Baumgartner himself said he could see the curvature of the Earth.
It's almost overwhelming.
He probably could. He could probably see a very slight curve. Obviously, he could not see what was seen in the fisheye footage, but he could probably see a curve. And again, don't care what Neil said. I'm going to say Neil's wrong on that. From 23 miles up, you can see a curve. From 10 miles up, you can see a curve. You can see a curve through an airplane. It's very slight, but you can see it.
When you're standing there in a pressure suit, the only thing that you hear is yourself breathing. You can see the curvature of the Earth. You can see the sky is totally black. You can see the curvature of the Earth. You can see the curvature of the Earth.
You can see the...
That's not a photo. What? Help me out here, guys, because I am 99% sure they just lens corrected an artist's rendition.
That's 120,000 feet, 4 times higher than most passenger planes fly.
So that should make you go, right away, what's going on here? Who's lying, right?
No, not really.
You don't think there's an agenda here? You don't think people are lying here? Fast forwarding to...
See, this is all relying on the assumption that anything to do with, that the curve of the Earth had anything to do with the Red Bull space jump. It didn't. It had nothing to do with the curve of the Earth. So the Earth could appear fucking convex for the entire video. It doesn't matter.
Recently, Richard Branson, his ugly ass, Mr. Billionaire himself.
Officially the first billionaire to travel to space, so Richard Branson.
So you go 63 miles up, you would all probably assume that, of course, you could see this giant curve of Earth. You're 63 miles up, holy shit. Richard Branson supposedly goes up 63 miles, even though it's nothing but fisheye lens footage. We exposed that. Here comes Neil deGrasse Tyson again. Damage control time.
Oh, by the way, you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you. Do you know how high up above the Earth he was?
No.
So if you take a
63 miles.
Well, yeah, say right. So take a schoolroom globe, and that's how high above it is he? So he's about 2 millimeters above the surface of a schoolroom globe.
Yeah.
So nobody has seen the curvature of the Earth from that height. I just want to make that clear.
You can't see the curve out of an airplane, right? 10 miles. You agree? I hope you agree so far. Okay.
No, actually, I don't.
So, 10 miles.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up my own. Fuck, I'm pretty sure I can see one in this one. It's very slight, but it's there. I'm gonna pull up a few photos that I took myself from a plane when I was flying from BC back to Ontario, and I'm gonna compress them from left to right, and we'll see what we see.
Up, no curve. Red Bull 23 miles up, no curve. Branson 63 miles up, no curve. So where is this curve at that you swear by? Because if you live on a ball, I don't care how big the ball is, it could be 4 times the size of what they told us, you would still see a physical curve at some point. That's what the horizon's supposed to be. That's how the sun is going. I mean, there's a curve of the Earth. All these theories involved with the curve of the Earth.
You should have scripted this one out. You were really, really struggling there. That's why I've admitted that I have not scripted this out. But you're making a movie here, buddy. You might want to script it. What's he getting at? Like, I also want to point out that if the Earth was 4 times the size they say it was, then you would need to go 4 times as high to see a curve. So I don't see how that's really an argument in your favor. Yeah, don't care. And again, I disagree with him to start off with, because I don't care what Neil deGrasse Tyson says. And I'm going to say Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong about this. You can see a curve from an airplane. You can see a curve from, how high was Baumgartner? 23 miles up? You can see a curve from 63 miles up. NDT's wrong. And I wish he'd stop talking about the curve of the Earth, because it's pissing me off.
Get thrown out the window.
That's what happens with a new company.
This is the fiction section. Fiction means it's a made-up story. Oh, hey, Elmo, I bet we can find your Galactic Gale comic book here.
Oh, boy, Elmo hopes so.
We all know who our enemies are. They are called the...
Fiction means
Let's
it's
go back here. Yeah, there's lots of decorative globes out there, but there are also educational globes. Let's see. I have a decorative globe right here. I'm willing to bet this one doesn't actually say not for educational purposes on it, because it's obvious that it's not. I'm trying to read this here. It's very small letters. Yeah, this one does not say not for educational purposes, and yet it is clearly not. So I'm not sure what your point is. Also, I love the implication here of like, oh, they're telling you the truth right here in front of your face. Why? Why the fuck would they do that?
made-up story. Oh, hey, Elmo, I bet we can find your Galactic Gale comic book here.
Oh, boy, Elmo hopes so.
We all know who our enemies are. They are called the globalists. with their false.
This is a common flat earth mistake. It's another one that pisses me off. Globalist does not mean what you think it means. A globalist is a person who advocates for a one-world government. Globalist has nothing to do with the shape of the earth.
Idol that they give children on the teacher's table at kindergarten, the false globe of the global agenda.
People are just deceived. I mean, I grew up from kindergarten. There's a globe. My kids, you know, they graduated from kindergarten and it was a freaking globe. They gave them a globe at graduation to take home like an inflatable beach ball.
Just have a quick question. How exactly could they not implement the globalist agenda on a flat earth? Like, if the idea is a one world government, like, let's say flat earth is true and beyond the ice wall there's more lands. You know, planes exist, right? They can go to those more lands, and they can get you. The government wants to get you, they'll get you. Flat or globe, I don't see how that makes a difference.
And I was looking at that thing going, oh my God.
We are taught that the earth is a ball before we can talk. In school, there's a globe in the class. One of the first worksheets we get is a sheet on the orbits of the planets and the sun. And I actually still remember that sheet. I did it, I got it right, I was so proud of myself. Sesame Street has astronauts on, Disney, it's all globe programming. So your entire world belief is around this.
If you think about it, they've gotten us.
Like, it just is what it is, you know? Like, you could also say, I don't know, that it's all clothes programming, because there's clothes in all of that media too. People are wearing clothes in that, and it's to indoctrinate you into wearing the denim prisons. Like, if the earth is a globe, then yeah, media is going to reflect that fact. This isn't a point.
At a very, very young age with the lying. Before we have any
8 minutes,
critical thought,
7 minutes,
the capability of thinking for ourselves. They teach us lies from the very beginning, from Tooth Fairy, Santa, dinosaurs. You know, with Santa, for instance, I mean, we're taught this lie: you better be good. We need you to stay in line and be good. Don't be naughty, be nice. You want to be on that nice list. Santa will come and bring you.
I feel like flat earthers not understanding the point of the naughty and nice list might be related to most of them not having kids. Because I don't have kids, but I understand the point of the Santa story. I mean, do you want a generation of delinquents? No. Then you tell them, be nice, or the fucking magic beard man won't give you toys.
This material gifts, and then fast forward, you find out Santa isn't real. For 5, 6, 7 years, however long the lie went on for, you've been conditioned a certain way, to act a certain way, so you'll fall in line. You'll do exactly what mommy and daddy tell you, what the teachers tell you. And when you realize that lie, it's subconsciously, you're taught at that point, it's okay to lie. It's okay to lie. It's okay to accept lies. It's okay for people to lie to you. It's okay for you to lie. So the whole world is a fucking liar.
This is like some weird moral objectivity stuff. Sometimes it is okay to lie. Like, there's a reason the term white lies exist. Sometimes it's better for a person to hear what they want to hear. Not always. And I think in general, honesty is a pretty good thing, but lies certainly have their use, and to imply otherwise is just absurd to me.
Everyone's a fucking liar now, because they were taught at a very young age it's okay to lie. They get you with these lies of Tooth Fairy and Santa at a young age. Let's
be honest here, whether it's okay to lie or not, everyone is a fucking liar. Like, you think most people aren't lying to you, whether the earth is flat or not? Everybody lies. Everybody lies.
So when you're an adult, you can't tell the difference between a lie and reality. And when you do find out it's possibly a lie, oh, it's okay. You're subtle. You're passive. You allow the lie because you're used to, it's okay to lie. You've been conditioned your entire life. It's okay to lie. It's okay to be lied to. So when the lie
You
comes
also
out,
should have
you're just like,
scripted this.
okay, whatever. Got to turn on my Fox News. Got to go to the bar. Got to go watch my football. Give them bread and circuses, and they will never revolt.
When people hear about flat Earth, when I talk to them about it, they think it's...
That would imply that there have never been revolutions. Like, all of this placating, during that time period, how many regime changes around the world have happened? This is absurd. This makes no fucking sense. People aren't placated. Have you looked around lately? People are pissed.
It's the dumbest thing ever. They think I'm uneducated.
You are.
They don't realize that they don't know what they're talking about. And
you don't.
People say, well, what about ships over the horizon? You explain that. What about sunsets? You explain that. What about seasons? You explain that. And then they throw their hands up and go, well, why does it matter? What difference does it make? I still have to go to work tomorrow. That's right where they want you. They want you working in your slave job. They want you obeying orders, doing what you're told, and living paycheck to paycheck, and just not realizing where you are.
So again, what is the alternative? What is this flat Earth utopia where economies don't exist? Like, yeah, people have to go to work because civilization exists. Civilization is a machine that needs to keep itself running with many small moving parts. So, of course, people have to go to work in the morning. Nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. It's a valid argument of why does it matter? Because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Although, like, he has this argument where he says, oh, you explain ships over the horizon, you explain sunsets, you explain this. You explain it badly, and we have counterpoints, and you say, nuh-uh. That's what actually happens.
Truth is, we're not spinning out of control, lost in space. Where an
Except we're out of control or lost.
asteroid could take us out. They want us believing we're running out of fuel. They want us to believe we're running out of food. When anyone can go and get a seed, stick it into the ground, water will fall from the sky and food will grow out of the ground. There is no shortage of water, food, space. Every American family could have a half an acre in Texas and the rest of the country would be empty. They're lying about everything.
You let your kids get raised and taught by other people that you don't know what they're learning.
So you do then. You want an agrarian woodland cult where you live off the land. That's fine. Go do that. Fuck off. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. Go find some unincorporated land. Start a fucking cult. And then you will have finally realized the end goal of Flat Earth, which is to make you guys fucking weird social recluses that nobody cares about.
Everybody's disconnected. There is no harmony or anything going on with human beings. We're all scattered, disconnected, and pretty much what they're doing with teaching us.
When the fuck was there? Look back through history, man. There's always been conflict. You're gonna act like the fucking flat globe debate creates conflict?
This whole lie about the Earth being a ball and you're flying through outer space, and dinosaurs used to roam the Earth, and if these powerful beings can get wiped out by a comet, then what are we gonna do if a comet comes? We're done.
So the heliocentric model not only manages to keep...
Well, no, not really, because that's why the idea of leaving Earth exists. You know, colonizing Mars, having a base on the moon, potentially having a fucking cloud city on Venus. There are so many options outside the Earth, and eventually outside our solar system. We recognize that the long-term goal is we have to leave this planet. On a long enough scale, humanity has to become nomadic, or else we are subject to the whims of the universe around us. That's nothing to be scared of. That's hope to me. That's one day we'll find a new Earth, and it'll get better every time. The simulation will improve with every iteration. I tweeted about this a while ago. I said, I feel like the Mars colony will be far more sustainable than Earth because it will have to be. It starts out in the modern era with everything that we know already going into it, and it's a huge chance for us to not repeat the mistakes of the past. And As we go on, as we colonize more planets, as we go to more star systems, that improves tenfold, exponentially. We get better and better and better at it until we are in that harmonious state with nature.
It was all completely worthless floating amongst the stars in space, but it
Who said you're worthless?
also keeps us in fear that we're either going to knock into something in the future, or there's going to be something that then bangs into us that causes some sort of horrendous collision and we're all going to die, or maybe, you know, some cartoon satellite has found another planet where there could be like flesh-eating monsters on there, and it's, you know, some sort of crazy shit that they throw down your face and try and say, you know, this is, as well as everything else that you're scared of, keeping your house, keeping your health, keeping your family together, there's also a chance as well that some rock may fall from the sky and kill you tomorrow.
Another thing people don't know is that not only in 1920 did Rockefeller change all the textbooks and come up with his own agenda of what
In one country. In one country.
What they want you to know, but there was a man named George Lemaitre. I felt like, you know, Einstein passed the torch to him or something. They were good friends.
I don't think you've said that correctly. But yeah, who's not familiar with him? He was the first person to hypothesize an expanding universe. By the way, you might notice the way he's dressed there next to Einstein. Not exactly an atheistic kind of guy.
Apparently, and George Lemaitre was a Catholic priest. Yeah, a Catholic priest. In 1920, he said, hey, we came from a Big Bang. So about 1920 was a crazy year, huh? 1920, they said we came from a Big Bang. We exploded from nothing. Well, how do you prove that? Well, no, you can't, but that's what was stated.
Who said you can't? We can prove it. We absolutely can. By examining the entire universe around us, the Hubble flow, redshift, all of these kinds of things indicate that at one point everything was contained together. Just because you don't understand it is no one's problem but yours. And if you're about to say something came from nothing, you're fundamentally wrong. He actually already said it and I completely missed it. So that's wrong, by the way. Every sensible person knows this. The Big Bang Theory does not propose that we came from nothing. It simply proposes that everything was once very small and then became very big.
So here's this Catholic priest where, in my opinion, they knew that even though non-religious people knew the earth was flat and stationary, they were trying to group, just call flat earthers at that time. They're flat earthers, they're all religious people. So let's bring forward a Catholic priest. Look, he's not a scientist. He's not government. He's a priest. He's Catholic.
If you go back far enough, religion and science are quite intertwined. A lot of famous discoveries have been made by religious people, by Jesuit priests, by Catholic priests, like George Lemaitre, plenty of other people. So it's not really an argument. Like, there was a period in time where the church was essentially responsible for retaining any knowledge of the past that we had. It was called the Dark Ages. It was a period of time where they held on to every fragment of every record that ever existed and kind of hid it away from the world for a little while until they were ready for it. And there's my landlord with his shitty, annoying cock rock music, which means I'm going to have to end this episode here. I thought I would get a little more out of it. 53 minutes. We didn't get much, but I've been recording for 28 minutes, so I think I can make a pretty good episode out of this, and we'll be back relatively soon with part 5. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. If you enjoy this content, consider hitting the subscribe button. If you really enjoy this content, consider donating on Patreon, becoming a member, buying some of my books on Amazon, or buying some of my merch. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you over the curve, Space Cowboys.